Hello and welcome to Wrestleopinionated. This is our weekly show all about the shows of AEW. We are your hosts. I am Morg and this is...
Actually did his homework, Matt Strange, and this is...
Waiting for Ibushi to become God, Muir.
He will become God. He announced it in a
I
promo.
like this idea of waiting for Ibushi to become...
He's just the perfect man at the moment. He just needs to transcend
God,
that
he hasn't ascended.
When he beats Kenny for every title that Kenny owns in one match, then he will be
I can't
God.
wait for it to show up and just destroy AEW. I mean...
As long as Okada shows up to help the best friends at the same time, I'm pleased.
And Tanner takes away Hangman to teach him the
Quick,
ways
Morg,
of
take back over. This is an AEW podcast.
Well, I was about to comment on the fact that, so, this week, it's this weekend, isn't it? Or is it weekend just gone?
It's today and, Monday and Tuesday at 6 a.m. on both days if you really wanted to stay up and watch them. But I'm just planning on watching them later.
Yeah, Wrestle Kingdom, which is the NJPW equivalent of WrestleMania. And we, at some point, either this week or next week, when we've all had a chance to watch it, are going to do a review show because we feel that this is another... sits in the important pay-per-views that we care about.
Oh, I wonder what faction you're going to fall for, Morg. I mean, Muir's not as dedicated to a faction as I am. Obviously, they've got Bullet Club, but Bullet Club are heels, and you're very much a face man.
And Bullet Club are boring. 2020 Bullet Club.
Whoa, they've still got the...
Tamatonga and Tamaloa.
Yeah, Tamatonga and Tamaloa. Yeah. And fucking Chad Blade.
Chad Blade is the only thing that... Yeah, but you can't like him. He's just too good of a heel.
Morg's going to have to be our chaos boy, unless I can lure him into LIJ with my wonderful tramp leader. I'd pop like shit if we had a Los Ignorables in AEW. That would be my ultimate fucking dream. I'd be like, Whoa!
Anyway, we've got enough about this podcast.
Yes, so at some point, either this week or next week, there will be a double two-set review like we did with WrestleMania, a night 1 and a night 2, I believe is what we agreed on.
I don't think it'll be worth it because I think there will be quite a few matches on that card that you'll be able to be very skipped over because with Japanese wrestling, you have quite a few matches for the older lads in tag teams at the start and stuff like that you could just skip over. So I think
you have heartwarming Japanese warm-up wrestling for like the first half of each day. So there's a lot you can skip over, as Muir said.
Yeah. So yes, we shall be getting on to watching that. So moving on. News this week. I don't think we've got anything new since we did the last show.
The wrestling world is still sad.
Yeah,
no.
World sad.
I mean, that's pretty much all you can say. Big E is still posting about Brody like multiple times a day. That pretty much covers everything on it. Big E, one of the world's chadliest, wholesome, heartwarming men, continuously posting about a man I had no idea he had a friendship for.
I just hope that Vince doesn't punish him for it. That's the main thing, because he's getting a push at the moment. So.
I think that there seems to be. I think there is.
It's
so
Vince.
It is Vince.
It's Vince.
If he wants to punish people who have posted about Brody in WWE, he'll have to punish most of his roster.
Yeah.
Like, they all watched the show. Everybody was openly talking about it. He
took their Twitch away earlier this year. I wouldn't hold it against him, guys. Let's be honest here.
Oof. And again, social media was strange. Pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, just dedications to Brody, millions of messages about him. Just that over and over again. Sad but heartwarming.
Yeah.
So before we move into our reviews, I laid down a challenge for you, Mr. Strange, to do your tier list. This might be the first time you've listened to our show, and as such, you would need to know that we have a tier list, which is how we review the matches of how we review the matches of Dynamite and the overall score for BTE, Dark, and Dynamite. I'm not sure if we're going to use our tier list
No.
this week.
Probably not.
But because I laid down the challenge, I think that you should give us your tier list.
A tier list. This week's tier list is Matthew Strange's take on Japanese horror and the genre. I'm a fucking weeb, as said to me by Morg. I almost broached into overall Asian horror so I could get A Tale of Two Sisters in there, which is fucking phenomenal.
That's great.
But I felt like I'd be going against the challenge if I did that.
Yeah, you
But here we go. We rank our matches, and I'm ranking Japanese horrors in the well-known tier list system, which actually comes from Japanese school system and old Japanese computer games like Resident Evil and Onimusha. The lowest rank we get in this is a D rank match or a D rank story, which is you don't care, it's on, you're not invested. Yeah, it may have a bit of story and the wrestling may be all right, but there's no point to it. And for me, that's quite a lot of average Japanese horrors, if I'm honest. You can look up if you see anything based like the Shikomi or anything like that. They're generally not very good. But I'm just going to give the D tier to any remake by Americans of a Japanese horror because they have successfully fucking Guy Cockagin's the polite version.
I know.
If we're being insulting, be polite. Don't watch remakes of Japanese horrors. It's upsetting to me. But we'll roll up into a C. A C rank is an average rank match. It's got enough wrestling, enough story that you care about what's going on. It might not have your full attention, but it's good enough. And in the Japanese horror world, that's basically Ju-on, The Grudge, the original film, not the TV special series, which came before, which is arguably better, or any of the 47 sequels. The original Ju-on. This is what people think a Japanese horror is when you think about the things. People think it's The Ring, but it's not. It's Ju-on. Ju-on is just enough story, just enough horror, just enough misery and mystery. It's good.
The best noise.
The best noise. We roll up into a B rank match. A B rank match has that little bit more. Maybe the wrestling's great. Maybe the story's great. Maybe just everything's just that little bit better. Match plus one, as we called it when Spears and Sky had a match. And I'm actually putting my favorite Japanese horror film into B rank. And this is what people think they're thinking of. As I said a minute ago, it's Ringu. The original Ringu, great. Or Ring. Obviously. Girl in a Well, it's basically a Lovecraftian investigative horror stretched out through a full film. I love this film, but it is only a B. It doesn't take anything to that next excelling level where it is worthy of the A rank. The A rank match has everything. The wrestling's great. The story's great. You care about it going in. You care about it coming out. Sure, it can sweep a little bit in each different way, but, you are invested. An A-rank Japanese horror is Audition. Very slow start. It's the only film that has successfully haunted me for months after seeing it. It has no supernatural horror. It's just awful. And it made me feel genuinely uncomfortable in myself. Very story-driven. Involves piano wire and acupuncture needles.
Nice.
Awful.
Awful.
S-rank. An S-rank match is a match which is just the fucking top of the tier. It's got great story. It's got great spots. You don't look away. You show gifts to your mates. It comes up once in every while. It blows the paradigm of what you're expecting. Like this paradigm-blowing Japanese horror, which everyone knows that has inspired...
The Vitch.
Copies of it. No, you see, you're thinking the wrong way. Inspired copies of it in American cinema. It's Battle Royale.
Yeah, Battle Royale's fucking ace.
It's fucking phenomenal. It's got genuine fear horror in it. It's a horror film. People think of it as like an action film, but it isn't.
No, it's horrifying.
It's a horror film, and it's a social commentary on the over-disciplinary treatment of children in Japan and their suicide rates and stuff. It's clever. It's not what you expect. It's not a Japanese white-haired ghost. And that's what I want from my S-rank wrestling matches. I want that paradigm broken. I want to be amazed and horrified. Well, the actual Battle Royale, 30 men with collars on, and if they go outside the ring, they detonate.
They explode, and they all give one random weapon, like a frying pan or a photograph.
They could have done this in Lucha Underground. But there you go. B, bad. Any American Horror remake. C, good. Ju-on. B, very good. Ringu. A, amazing. Audition. And S, fucking Sugoi. Battle Royale.
I haven't seen Audition. I should see it.
I am. Oh, no, I am
awful.
surprised because I have actually seen all of the films you've mentioned except the D rank ones.
Yeah, I'll go through a phase.
Oh,
where
I
I'll
think
just sit and
no. I
watch.
think I watched the D because I really like. I'm with you on Ring. It's probably out of the ones you said, it's between Ring and Battle Royale. Battle Royale probably edges it. That is one of my favourite films.
I'm just a
But the
proper. I'm a
Ring is
sucker
my
for ghost
favourite
stories.
pure supernatural.
Japanese horror.
Yeah, my
it's-
favourite pure. And I think I
it's-
saw the American remake. Probably the worst thing to do to your favourite.
Yeah, no.
It's
don't
like
do that.
watching a movie of a book. It's just the same.
Yeah. Almost threw Noroi in for my partner. That's her favourite horror film, but I'd have given that a B as well. It's very good, but it's hand footage and a bit weird at times. Very Japanese.
Remember when
You
this
know
was a wrestling podcast?
All right, okay, back to
There's
the
many
right,
moves to
okay.
go.
Oh,
Look,
oh,
it's Japan week for us, yeah.
yeah,
It's
yeah, it
okay.
is actually.
Where's my stardom notes? I'll get out the other book.
So it's time to move on to our review of the week. I'm really sorry, Mr. Muir, you've got this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. We
BTE.
start off as always with BTE or being the elite.
Wow.
Teary
Yeah.
eyes, boys. Teary eyes.
I don't know really what to say. There is no way you can review
We
this.
don't expect a lot, man.
Yeah.
This was heart wrenching and heartwarming at the
Do
same time.
you want to see wrestlers that are normally comedic wrestlers and like to have a bit of fun, being really sad and upset because their mates just died?
I think John
Do you-
Silver did a good job of showing. He got the job
Humour,
of showing
yeah.
Brody's
Oh.
lighter side, and I think
Yeah.
He's
he
the one
come
that
on-
got me the most.
yeah, it
Because
was-
the
I
fact
was-
he was like happy with the memories. Sorry,
It
I'm
was,
talking
it
over
was
you.
all right until Eddie came on. Eddie was the one that got me.
That's in Dynamite.
That's in the
That
show.
one is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. We'll get to
Basically, it's a loving memorial to a man that died way too young. It's bittersweet to watch. I'd recommend it if you care at all about the Dark Order and Brody Lee, but don't expect to be, laughing the way down the street. But it is heartfelt, and I would recommend it.
Unrankable. It's
Yeah.
a moment of what we've been seeing for the last since it happened. We're on
Yeah.
to over a week now, and wow.
Two things I wanted to point out was I think it was Matt opening up with it's Monday, you know what that means, which I thought
Yeah.
was really cool. And the thing that the Raptor noticed that made us smile during it is the fact that Alex Reynolds is obviously so under the paw of his cat that even when he was doing this, he had to let his cat sit next to him and wash herself and do whatever she wanted. He's a true cat
It's-
owner.
Adds a little something to it than being at home and just
Yeah, it
Yeah.
makes it feel more real.
And the
I also
boys-
like Preston Vance in his car was quite heart wrenching as well, because obviously Brody had been helping him a lot. 10, if you don't know, and yeah, it was just really sad, basically.
So,
It's
yeah,
the only part of the show where I get to shit talk things.
yeah,
Yeah.
we will not be. Yeah. I have a feeling that you'll be in for it next week. So yeah, we're not ranking BTE this week.
Oh,
We're just
man,
telling
yeah.
you should watch it. Let's move on to Matt Strange's speedy run through of Dark.
For one's favourite
I've actually-
moment.
I've actually got my notes are a bit messed up in this because I watched it in chunks. So
Because he started on the vodka early, and they just got messed.
I've not stopped drinking and just eating fucking shit food since Christmas. So here we go. We open up with Morales versus Phoenix, which was just a AAA match, which
Right.
is the yeah it was
This was
really
good.
solid. Really solid luchadoring. Morales had a fucking great roll up and down the fucking turnbuckle at one point. The round the world DDT was great. Phoenix's muscle buster bomb is just awesome.
I
This was
loved
worth
it.
a watch.
Yeah.
It's so good. Seeing as the muscle buster was originally banned from pretty much everywhere in wrestling because you just slammed down with them on the neck, turn it into that bomb for the safety adds just that little bit of flair. And Phoenix does something new in every single match. He's so inventive, just wonderful.
It's horrendous how that's not the right word, but it's just ridiculous. Like every match, he's got something new to show off. It's just ridiculous.
Then we rocked into Ford versus Snow. We're all aware I quite like Snow. I think her look is fucking baller. Very short though, skippable, I would argue.
Yes, mate.
Beaver Boys, Silver and Reynolds versus Dean and Maddox, the Blessed Indie Boys, doing what they do. We have been seeing a lot of them. Dean deserves a match, though. I'm actually starting to feel bad for Sean Dean. Yes. Maddox looked the least comfortable in this. Like he was, the one who hasn't been wrestling with him as much. But that combo that Silver and Reynolds do is probably my favorite. It's just a really cool, proper tag team. It's not just I pick you up, you do move, that's done. It's a sequence, and I love it. Alia versus Jay. Alia needs a gimmick. Just walking out and putting your arms out is what every female wrestler does. I'm sorry.
Get a clue. Get a gimmick.
Yeah. Jay has become one of the blessed members of the Dark Order. Always giving the jobbers their spot, letting them look good for a bit. Otherwise, once again, the match is skippable. We had the Brit section and the Void stared back again.
I hate these segments. I'm sorry, they're so WWE trash. They hurt my soul. I don't think even WWE would put them on.
The problem is they're not. I don't mind the Brit being a heel, where she's quite good at that bit, where she does the very two-faced thing, and I don't. But she's not great. She's not Roddy Piper. She's not Chris Jericho. She's not. Who the other really great ones? Kevin Owens show. Certain ones that have been particularly good. I mean, obviously, you always go back to Roddy Piper, Piper's Pit, probably the greatest talk show segment with one of the greatest talkers. Just have her do her smarmy heel bit and have one of the wrestlers do a party trick like you did with Marco, and I think I'd be happier.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And have it as the random wrestler shows off a talent you didn't know they had. Almost break the pacing of what it is. You have her heel bit and then have a little face bit.
Can't wait for Brit to show off something. Just straight in front of everyone.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I didn't hate Seidel acknowledging his fall, referencing the Shockmaster and explaining his transcendence gimmick, but I think that arguably deserves to be in somewhere a little bit more serious. Actual promo. But that was a moment. Then we
I do have to say for the Brit thing very quickly. There is something we complained about Dark originally when it was just matches. At least they're putting something else in Dark.
Trying, but it doesn't mean it's working.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you.
I don't.
Then we rock. We do need those pace breaks. Go. Rising Comarato and Tapia versus Team Taz. I was really excited to see Comarato again, and I don't think he was used right in this match. I'm just going to get that out at the start. My next note is just announce the title, Justin. Just announce
it.
Had this spot. Just announce it, please.
What is this? The 4th or 5th time now? Just announce it.
Just announce it. Otherwise, this was all right. It was nice. The Team Taz always give the jobbers their spot. Everybody got to do a little thing in the back and forward pass of who's doing a move. But it was mostly just a squash. And I think Ryzen has earned being a little bit more respectfully treated. He's been about since the start of the Rona. And Comarato is a beast.
Please.
Just save him. Do something good.
He's halfway through to Krenos. Leave him alone.
He is in Glaybro.
Yeah.
Good work. You've learned too much about Werewolf. Fuego and Griff. Griff did in this match, and I've been saying Griff looks dime since the start.
Right.
Did repeated backbreakers by flipping Fuego over, and I thought that was really fucking cool.
Fuego's fantastic as well.
Yeah, he is. Loads of cool face, just flipping and stuff from Fuego. He's a great Alabaman luchador. Blessed Griff, giving his opponent time to get their work in as well. He's not hit the mainstream and become a douche. He's blessed by the other indie stars around. His forearm is a bad finisher, though. Go with those repeated backbreakers, ended it in a slam. That would be sick as fuck.
Yeah.
And obviously, I love Peter Avalon with him afterwards because I love Peter Avalon and I think he's wonderful. His new gimmick is
perfect.
Yeah. This is the next match, which my notes are actually quite funny because I was skipping through the credits, so I didn't know it was coming out, and I was like TNT, and I wrote down maybe they're going to get a win, and then I just heard the woofs as Proud and the Powerful came out, and I was like, oh, sorry, boys, out you go. Solid though. I think I think TNT could really benefit from a few more matches with Proud and the Powerful, being trained by them. They've got, I don't know, I feel like a similarity between the teams in a way. Obviously, they don't have a Comedy Ortiz.
Yeah.
I did get a bit distracted in this one. The woman had just woken up, if I'm honest. Few nice spots for TNT, though, but most of it was Proud and the Powerful. We did, in fact, get the fucking 3D, and I was excited. They should have saved it for a win, though.
No, using the 3D and not winning is just wrong. I'm sorry.
But once again, I said this isn't the most inspiring dark. Like, there's a lot of. It was all right.
Do they want to use the? Do you want to have the 3D more as a signature than a finisher, though? Because they're not the Dudley Boys. They are the sons of, and I think as a signature move, it's fine. But they should have their own finisher. Or they need to do a amped up new 3D and off the top rope 3D or something. No, but I can't think of. You made
a really good point. I'm down with what you're saying. Get your own finisher and use it as your transitional because you're not the master of it. Yeah, no, you make a good point. But if it goes through a fucking table, they'd best win.
Yes, exactly.
Oh yeah.
Sammy versus Solo. Sammy's starting to square up. If you look at him, that boy's putting on some beef. Solid match. I didn't really care about it. Blessed Sammy once again giving Solo a few spots. It was pretty cool.
I quite enjoyed this match. I think it's because I like both of them, so I was
more invested.
Yeah, I was willing to give them more than maybe they than it warranted. Yeah.
It was a solid match.
Yeah, it was a solid match.
I would have probably given it a B because I would have probably given it a B because I like both of them, but it was probably legitimately just a C.
Sammy got a 4chan quote in at the end when he said, "That's another win for the good guys." That's from 4chan, just so you know.
I did like his promo at the end.
Yeah, no, it's Sammy's going to go far. I'm wondering if they're getting ready to build him up. Well, we've been talking about his face.
That's what we need. Another face.
Another face.
Long slow.
Right. Chaos Project versus Ariel and the Crowman. I was really excited for the fucking Crowman.
Yes,
when he walked out, and the beak on his mask moved independently. I was like, "There's a fucking Crowman."
If you don't understand Strange, he loves crowmen and pigmen. So seeing a crowman in wrestling would have ticked all his boxes.
You wait till Russian Boar or Comrade Boar shows off the Indies. And then he took the mask off, and I was really sad. And then I noticed he had nipple rings, and I was like,
"Oh no!
I wouldn't wrestle with nipple rings."
That's brave.
So Pentaco versus Crowman. I've actually got his name written down somewhere. Cuero.
He doesn't need a name.
Those two were having AAA matches when they were together. They were just doing some cool indie fun stuff. Luther and the other dude, not so smooth together, and I think Luther is reaching the
end.
Yeah. I do enjoy their slapstick moves and the picking up and slamming. Not as much as Taz does. Don't get me wrong.
Wait, if you can find someone that loves you as much as Taz loves slapstick wrestling, you're set for life.
His joy bleeds over into me, and I did love the line from Excalibur of "Nobody wants this match to end more than Sir Pentaco." Otherwise, it was all right. You know, I can't exactly high rank it. The pacing was awkward and stuff, but I got very excited for.
But you enjoyed it.
Yeah. Lever versus Maddie Renkowski. Wrote that down phonetically. They were not smooth together. Nope. I did laugh when Lever called her an illiterate bitch, though.
That's a good line.
That's a fucking dope insult. Maddie worked quite hard to get her character over. You know, she was definitely wearing a persona on the, in the ring. But then we had a small book spot and a small package, and it ended. I can't say this was a good match.
It was not, my friend.
Okay, we get a good women's match later.
Yes.
Limelight versus Seidel. This wasn't as good as I was expecting it to be.
No.
It was very smooth and technical.
But not after the Phoenix match.
At one point, Seidel did this move where I shouted, "What the fuck was that?" He ran at Limelight. Limelight went through a thing, and Seidel sort of flipped up in the air whilst one arm was being held. Spanned 360 through both directions and landed in a gives you vitality back. Arm drag.
Arm drag, yeah.
Yeah, and I just shouted, "What the fuck was that?" It was like he glitched out in a Bethesda game.
That's the last that looks like Rio from TPJW's finisher. She spins and then pulls you over like that. So I think
it's it on like a 6-foot man.
No, I'm not trying to say, when these guys pull out Joshi moves, I'm just like, the fuck are you able to do this, mate?
It's ludicrous. A lot of cool spots, but not as good as what we've seen from both of these men. And I'm hoping Seidel doesn't go spears. I hope we're not going to just see him in match after match after match of Seidel on Dark.
No.
He has a huge repertoire of moves, though. Like he's starting to Morg Cody on things he can pull out in a match.
Well, we'll get to see that next week.
Yeah, good point. But yeah, it was good. Not great, but good. This is the next match I actually recommended watching. Conti versus Vert Vixen, Green Fox. I actually quite like this. I hate the fact her suspenders are held onto fishnets, though, still. That really annoyed me. I love the fact she busts out Judah.
By Matthew Strange.
It just doesn't work. You need that little band that goes around. I don't know women's fashion.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
What you're I think you're suggesting she should be in stockings and suspenders, which although they would up her Ty Conti rating, might be a little difficult to wrestle in.
This match started with her doing 2 squats with the cameraman behind her, so she knows what she's about.
A stardom cameraman.
She did a Tomonagi, which I really like because I took one in high school.
Is that the only reason?
Look, when you're in a judo class in high school and the one lad, everybody else is learning flips, and you get thrown like 8 foot. He did a release Tomonagi on me across a room, but it's all padded and fluffy. It's badass.
Yes, mate.
This was a better women's match, though. Conti's got some really cool moves and strikes. She's really working on that. The pacing was actually all right. Yep. And that final wrist control sequence, which she did, where she was
catch can, wasn't it?
It was legit fucking cool, but her finisher is awful.
Look, she's only stopped doing forward rolls in the development center for 3 years. She's got to give her time.
You don't need to set people up in a full fucking back hold to spin around and knee them in the face. Just knee them in the face. You've done it plenty before. You like
just do a stardom finish. Get them up in a torture rack and then do some cool move from it. Done. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I enjoyed that match.
Yeah, it was a good match.
And we moved on to I've just written jobbers. It was Baron Black and 2 others versus Gun Club. The intro to this got me. I was laughing by the time the match started because Austin came out doing his imaginary gunsling, and then Excalibur started pointing out that his guns couldn't hold that many rounds, and specifically stating how he's doing revolver actions, and that's not possible. I love Billy just being a giant naughty schoolboy because that's basically what he is.
It's the highlight of his career.
Faking suck it in different times and stuff. He's great. I actually really enjoyed this, and I thought it was too short. Austin's getting really fucking fast and good.
Yes.
The only thing I could possibly criticize was that basketball corner move thing was a bit lame.
Go try things, haven't you?
And it was too short. This could have gone on like another 4-5 minutes or so, and it would have been great. Poor Austin's voice broke when he was doing his shout at the end, and I felt a little bit sorry. Yeah.
It's the worst when that happens.
We've all done that.
Yeah, mate.
We've all done that. A bad muster. Yeah, no, it was good, just really short. And then we had TH2 versus SCU. And I don't know, I just couldn't get into it. Like, haven't we seen every combo of this match before?
It's such a...
Yeah, I think we have.
It's a match you've seen 1,000 times before in different promotions, different things, different whatevers.
I forgot, we had the CD and Frankie thing and the Brit bit, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
If we don't win, it's over. We'll break up. So obviously they were winning. We're kind of actually...
They're going to break up on Dark.
I don't think the story was built enough for me to actually give it any story rank. I mean, don't get me wrong, solid. All of the people in that ring were good, but nothing was inspired. There were no like really big moments until the end. I meant to care, but I don't. Yeah, the final sequences and stuff were fine, even if Kaz hit fucking Trent levels of hit points. And then they just won.
Yeah,
and that's it. That's not how they should have ended
I think
it.
it's another one of those we expect to be because of who's in the ring, but it was AC.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it was all right, but Dark, I would argue, is largely skippable this week. A few good matches, a few
first
all right
match
matches.
was worth watching. What was the first match again?
That's Phoenix and...
Yeah, that's it.
The man.
The man. Your man over there.
And
yeah.
I'd say the Ty Conti match.
Morales.
Ty Conti
and the
match
Ty
was
Conti
also
match.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's really coming into her own, and I'm excited to see where she's going. And Vixen's pretty good as well.
Yes, she is.
Yeah.
Anybody with a colour, then an item in their name seems to work out all right.
So yeah,
Get ready
what's
for
the
pink
start?
sideboard.
Finally. I'd be down with it if she can wrestle as good as those two.
So
that's it. That means we can move on to sad things.
yes.
Mate.
So we move on now to overall ranking for Dark C.
Yeah, low
It's
C.
alright.
If you watch the whole thing, there we go. That is the ultimate ranking for it. The Morg. It's all right.
Yeah.
It's all right. Now Dynamite. So a couple of things we're going to do differently. Although I have given ranks to the matches as individual matches, this was a very special Dynamite. This was the Brody Lee tribute show. Opened with the 10 bells ringing and the whole roster on the main stage. In my run through, I've decided not to cover the testimonials that happened within it, because I don't think that they don't count as promos, so I just haven't covered them.
My opening notes are that start, my heart, kayfabe broken, and I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
It's only kayfabe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
JR, Schiavone, Excalibur, and Jericho on commentary, and we opened with something that was going to be the theme for the night. It was Private Party with Matt Hardy versus the Bucks with Colt. So it was a member of the Dark Order in every match. Colt wins with the Superman pin. What did you guys think of the match?
I'm glad. You go first, Muir.
It was your spot monkey match. That's all it was. You know, it was just standard spot monkey match. I really enjoyed it. It was good fun. I like Colt having proper stats. I love when he gets the win with the Superman pin. The Superman pin is one of my favourite pins, so I was happy.
I'm glad comedy Full Power Colt is back. He's his best. Even though he came in crying, he fucking slid into that. Solid and smooth. I wrote really good boxing, so I'm not always at the top of the spot monkey sort of follow. I'm more of a brawly dude, but really good boxing. The pace didn't break for until the middle where it slowed down a bit, but was still solid. Matt Jackson ate a lot of shit. He always eats a little shit, and there was possibly a bit too much corner stuff on that end. And then they gave Cabana his hot tag, and it was a fucking great hot tag, a reel of his skills. Matt Hardy confirmed as a heel with his shittiness. We got a few slow moments near the end, but then we got the Chicago Skyline, which is a finisher I love. I think that finisher is just so intense. It's just so simple and cool and horrendous. Into the Superman pin. For me, it was solid. It was good. But it didn't amaze me on but I'm not much of a spot monkey man. But a solid opening, and Colt did the Dark Order hand signal. Yeah. Hard.
Acclaimed come out to try and bad talk Dark Order. SCU just come out and cut them off. Yeah, I liked that. That was good. Good heel work. People.
I was being judgmental at first. I was like, why are they coming out? And then I was like, no, it's a pace break. It's just heels being shitty heels and getting their stomp down for this episode. And my opinion of it went up thinking about that, basically. So yeah, I'm with you.
Following on from that, and he was definitely playing full-on face in this match. Lance Archer with Stu Grayson, Evil Uno versus Eddie Kingston, Butcher and Blade with the Bunny. OG Dark Order win with the Fatality. What did you guys think of this match?
I really enjoyed this. Lance, that gimmick, I mean, I know it's Brody's old one, but
it's really Brody, but
it looks real good on Lance.
Yeah.
My next note is fuck Eddie. Jesus. Read the room, Eddie. These men are cowards.
Sorry.
Oh. I really like Lance using the Dark Order as weapons in this match. I thought that was great. And then when they did it back to him as a team, that was cool.
Blessed indeed.
Eddie ate a lot of shit just for catharsis. Like, you could tell he went, I'm going to be an asshole and you guys get to fucking
destroy me.
Yeah. Blade's power slam is really good. It's not mill level, but it's really good. Great. Sorry, go on.
His DDT that he did, off like the top and over the ropes, is fucking ridiculous as well.
I've got that down a bit later. Grayson with the Brody Bossman slam was awesome. Both sides still read as heels to me. You still had cheating and dickery and stuff. And
the way Lance was pounding that corner turnbuckle better than anybody else, that was pure babyface. That really stood out to me. That did, but they were playing face. Whichever side had the Dark Order were playing face this night, irrelevant of whether they're turning or anything else. They were the fan favourites, and Lance. It shows Lance though something I didn't think of Lance being able to play face. This gave me another side. Remember, I was very down on Lance at the beginning.
Yeah, no,
he's growing on me a lot.
As long as we had,
he has really come out of his shell since leaving NJPW. There was no slowing in this match either. No. It was just a solid brawl. Then they'd be like brawl, 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 high spot, brawl, brawl, brawl. Stu's over the rope slam on Butcher.
Mate.
I really enjoyed this. This is the kind of match I love. We know what I'm about. And as much as I bitch about old guys doing things and stuff, Jake doing Brody's lariat really made me smile. So,
what Jake did was the short arm clothesline, which is the setup to the DDT.
Oh, they shouted things about Brody when he did
I think Brody used to do the short arm clothesline as well, but it was Jake's old setup. It was what he always did before he did the DDT, which is why whoever it was got hit by it fucked off quickly, because obviously Jake can't do the DDT.
Yeah,
not his one.
As much as I bitch about
he would explode into dust.
Yeah.
I'm happy for him to do it on this
day.
Yeah. Well, no, he can do the short arm.
Yeah, no, I don't mean him doing a full DDT. Yeah. I just mean I don't mind old guys doing bollocks tonight because it's a memorial show. It's not, oh my God, you're ruining the story. This is just for Brody.
Yeah, and that was just there for the moment to pop the fans where, the manager of the currently, inverted commas, face team does a cool thing. All in all, I thought this was great. I really enjoyed this. I don't think I've got anything below a B on my ranks. No. No. Moving on from that, we had what I thought was the match of the night, the one I enjoyed the most. Hangman with fun. Silver and Reynolds versus MJF, Santana and Ortiz, with Jake, Sammy and Wardlow. Silver wins with the discus lariat. What did you guys think of this match?
Can you please use their team name? I don't like
Oh,
not
sorry,
being called the good,
the bad, and the hungry, which is it's got to stay because that is just the greatest name.
This match was great. It was complete bollocks. This was a Jakara match, if there was ever a Jakara match on.
I love this. This is the other side of what I love about wrestling.
Yes, mate.
Hangman did the hand action on the way down. MJF's fucking gear. He won't drop what he's doing for anything.
No.
I've got double lols down for the paper shots, especially Hangman's one.
Paper shots are beautiful. I
fucking
love them.
MJF shouting at Brody Jr.
Lads, keep that heel gimmick going.
The Raptor was there going, if Brody Jr. does not hit him with that kendo stick, I will not be happy. And then that was a cracking kendo stick shot.
Afterwards on Twitter, MJF put up "fuck that kid." I was like, bro.
I love MJF.
He sold it like an absolute.
Like he was
champ.
dead.
Yeah,
it was brilliant.
So
like a
much.
man who spent a lot of his years in MLW and PWG.
Yes, mate.
Obviously, this was really solid. A bunch of my notes are just like Santana's great, Hagman's great. I would say that the Inner Circle triple move was a bit weird if I had to give it a criticism, but then it went into Silver's hot tag, which was phenomenal.
Silver's hot tag was beautiful.
His catch of Ortiz into the powerbomb was perfect.
Yeah.
His flipping destroyer, I actually wrote down was cool.
Yep.
That's a destroyer. The Eric Rowan spot
was sweet.
Yeah, it was fucking lovely.
I forgot about that.
I didn't know how big he was. Jesus.
Yeah.
The Beaver Boys
popped
like fuck when he came out. I will be.
I
honest.
Also popped, even though I didn't really watch WWE when he was, there. I was just happy for him.
Yeah, I was never a big fan. He was always Harper was Brody Lee was always the better of the two. But yeah, I popped like hell when he came out.
Yeah, just. Then we got the Beaver Boys combo into the Buckshot Lariat, which is awesome. The cameraman didn't help at the start when it panned away when they began, and Silver had to readjust in the middle, but it didn't matter because he was holding a man by his waist. But it was wicked. Then we got the blessed Brody Jr. spot with fucking MJF with his full slapstick sell. God, he's wonderful. And Silver getting the Brody Lariat, my heart, man. I got teary.
It was a great match. I fully enjoyed this one.
Wonderful. Wonderful wrestling.
Then
this is wrestling.
Yeah. Then it was Tay Conti and Anna Jay versus Penelope Ford and Britt Baker with Rebel, Kip, and Miro. Anna wins with the Queen Slayer. Solid. What did you guys think?
Waiting for somebody else to go. I'll go. Britt and Jay are really smooth together. They were like probably my favorite combo of the two in the ring. Obviously, I'll go on about Tay Conti. I like her strong style, her cool throws and such like. Did find the Rebel Tay heel spot a little bit weird, and the pace did go down a bit during the break. Tay might need to work on a few criticisms. Tay needs to work on some of her selling, but otherwise, yeah, it was solid. Conti's slams are good. Jay's hot tag was really good, and her and Britt just great against each other, as I've said. It was good. As I said, Jay and Britt, the best together. I really like where Conti's going. Needs a bit of work. Ford was arguably the weakest in the match. I'd have to say, but otherwise. I think this could have just been a match between Jay and Britt, and it would have been as good, if not better. Yeah, it was good. Solid.
I liked when Ty just threw Penelope Ford. She must have thrown her like 6 foot just across the fucking ring. But yeah, it was solid enough. You've also got to think that all these matches had like 5 days prep tops.
And this did come after like a match which blew me away like emotionally. So
exactly. I think it was a solid match, and I think on any other night would have been happy for this to be a good AEW women's match.
Hey, watching a Jay cry whilst wrestling is a new experience I didn't know that I didn't want.
Yes, mate. It's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
It was like Silver crying through his match. It was it's heartbreaking seeing them do this. But yeah.
And then we move on to the final match of the night, which was Brody Jr.'s Dream Team. It was Team Taz, Hobbs, Cage, and Starks with Hook and Taz versus the Dream Team of Cody Rhodes, Orange Cassidy, and 10 with Arn Anderson. 10 wins with the Spine Buster. We'll move on to what happened afterwards. What did you guys think of the match?
I thought Team Taz were going to take this. I thought they were going to win this match coming into this.
Would have been bold. My first note is, oh, fuck off, Cody. I'm not sure he needed to come out last and have the full entrance on this day. He's the only person who didn't like. I'm sure Cody is lovely, even though the internet says he's a sociopath.
Yes, they do.
Every other wrestler did a point to the sky or a tap or something. I don't know. Maybe he deals with grief differently. Maybe he didn't know him that well. I can't really comment. But my first thing was, oh, fuck off, Cody.
Cody was the only one on the night who was still playing in character that he wouldn't tag 10 straight. So he built up to when he did tag 10. And I think it's just part of Cody's ability to tell a story. His matches have to have a story in them. So I think he was being a bit that to tell, because we know how good he is at telling a story in a match. And I noticed at the beginning he wouldn't tag 10. He'd only tag Cassidy. He still had problems with the Dark Order. And then, of course, when he went for his hot tag to 10 at the end, it added that little bit extra to it.
Yeah, I got you. I mean, as much as I've made that criticism to open, the match was good. Like, obviously, everybody there can wrestle. I think my favourite was Hobbs versus Orange Cassidy. I think those two had some great fucking little combos of skinny, tiny man versus giant wall.
Beast. Yeah.
Hobbs' spinning power slam was really
He's
good.
getting a lot better, ain't he?
Yeah, I could have gone without the delayed vertical suplexes, but I think AEW has overdone those either way. One of my favourite counters I've ever seen was OC countering the Rochambeau into the spinning DDT.
That was beautiful.
That was wonderful. Starks' step-up DDT was fucking great. And then, rounding out with Starks taking all of the finishes in order was very Starks, and I think was a very nice little finish for a match that was, for Brody Jr. Who are your favourites doing all the moves on the guy who can take them and will,
sound like a fucking boss because it starts.
Yeah. I think you're right. It was the correct ending for what the match was.
Yeah, one of my original notes was before we all agreed not to grade these matches because it was, it's not right, basically. Was I'm giving this match the story plot rank increase regardless, and that finisher combo was just so a kid could watch all of his favorites do their coolest moves, and it was wonderful. Really good match. Really, I'd have gone with. No. The kid picked the match. It's the perfect finale. Ignore me. And
so then,
Cody
Team Taz do the beatdown, lights out, Darby and Singh for the save, and then
never talk to me or my son again.
Never speak to me or my son again.
Which I think just was a good get back on track storyline for me as far as I was concerned, because you still have to, we've got to move on to next week and the stories have to pick back up. So I didn't have a problem with it, and you've got to have Sting. I think you had Sting appear at the Brody.
Have to have Sting interrupt Team Taz, or it's not an episode of Dynamite.
Having watched the earlier bit, it was more a fact. I think you had to have Darby had to have a spot on there. Having watched the him doing being one of the talking heads earlier, I think Darby had to have a spot, and as he wasn't one of the ones chosen to be, there wasn't anywhere else he could be on it. And I think
Brody Jr. understands the dimes of 10.
He had to come out and have his moment, on the show. And I think coming out to make the save that continues their storyline was probably the safest way. So that's why I didn't have a problem with it. And you're trying to push this storyline with Sting. I think you needed to have Sting and Darby come out. So I didn't have a problem with it. I can understand why others might have thought it felt a little bit.
Can't say it bothered me, but I think we could have gone without. And I've been saying that, we need to stop scaring off Team Taz for a while, but...
No, they're too scared.
They need to move on.
No. Everything's mogged by the ending, to be honest. Even Cody got red-eyed in the ending, and...
Yes,
Does he feel feelings?
Well, that was the thing. I think when he went out, he was playing the character Cody Rhodes. I think we saw the real after that, they did have a segment which was a sort of after the lights go down, where they presented Brody Jr. with the TNT Championship, his own TNT Championship.
The belt.
And Cody, the belt, and Cody cut a promo and was really struggling, and we always talk about how good Cody is. He was struggling in that promo.
If I had to cuddle to calm down a crying man who looked like 10, I don't think I'd be able to emotionally deal with it.
Yeah, that's true.
It's easier to deal with crying smaller people, or when that a fucking wall of American football is broken. He has to cuddle into you like you're his teddy bear.
Yeah,
and Cody ain't a small man,
Yeah. Well, I think it's the best thing they could have done for him. Like when Brody had the belt, he used to sleep with that belt in his bed. So I think that's the nicest possible thing they could have done to him. So,
and also Tony Khan breaking down as well. That's more noticeable on. There is a follow-up. It left the show with Brody's boots in the ring. So overall, I've just stated this is an S-rank episode as far as I'm concerned. This was as good as. So if you're going to sort of put great tribute shows of wrestling, there are two. There is the Eddie Guerrero tribute, and there is the Brody Lee AEW tribute. They are two of the greatest.
Several people have said to me they've never seen this sort of response to a death in the wrestling world since Eddie Guerrero. That is the comparison Brody has had. So you've got it spot on.
Also, after the show, Brody Jr. also beat Adam Cole backstage. So there was a bit of WWE crossover. Yeah, he pinned him.
I saw a bunch of videos of him beating up the Dark Order with a kendo stick.
Yes, mate, then he beat up Adam Cole as he came out as well.
He shouldn't have beaten up the Dark Order with a kendo stick. It should have been with a roll of paper.
He's got his own thing now.
He's got his kendo stick.
I watched the post-show for this, and normally I don't talk about it. And Cody was doing an interview with Tony, and they called up Brody Jr. and first I had to call up Darby's dad, as Cody was calling him, which is Sting, because Sting was playing computer games with Brody Jr. And then later there's footage of him beating up the Dark Order. That kid is being there's nothing we can never truly understand what he's going through, but the love and care they are putting into this kid is wonderful.
Heartwarming, yes.
Well, one of the things me and the Raptor did discuss was the fact that he didn't look very starstruck, but then you have to remember, even though he handpicked his three favourite wrestlers, these are probably his three favourite wrestlers that he hangs out with.
Exactly.
Because they did mention about Brody and Brody Jr. being backstage at times.
All the time, yeah.
Yeah, so it's probably even more heartbreaking for the wrestlers because they know not just Brody's love for his kids, they get to see it firsthand. Obviously this kid is well liked backstage as well. Even by Eddie. Bastard. I'm not forgiving you, Eddie. I nearly made it all the way through the show. Nearly, and then Eddie did his promo, and that's when I missed it up. So there you have it. That's our review of this week's AEW shows. Yeah, that was a very hard thing to review. Thoroughly go and watch. If you haven't watched that Dynamite, go and watch that Dynamite. It is absolutely, and the matches, even if you want to try and avoid the bits that might make you feel a bit sad, and you
Don't
do
watch
skip
Eddie's promo.
Just don't watch Eddie's
But
just watch the
end.
matches. You just want to watch the matches as individual things.
Watch
They
the
are
first match and
great
stop
matches. They are great matches. So moving on, it is that time of the week where we answer questions. Hopefully they will be slightly more cheery. Something we can get back onto our usual pedestal for. And I believe, Mr. Strange, we have a question.
We do. This was sent in by one Tough Bone Flex. How would you How would you fix the character of a wrestler or faction you currently dislike? I haven't answered this yet because I don't know who I whinge about the most. So I was going to ask you two, who does it feel that I hate the most out of all of them?
Nightmare people. Oh.
I missed both those because you were simultaneous. Morg, who do you think I hate the most?
Nightmare people.
Nightmare people.
No stunt.
Muir? A stunt. I'm going to give you the cursed discussion I had earlier of the worst thing that can possibly happen with the Dark Order now is that as opposed to defeating it, Dustin becomes their leader.
Oh, God, why? Why would you do this?
How would I fix the Nightmare people?
See, that was part of my I would fix the Nightmare people is I would split them up and I would send Dustin to the Dark Order.
I'm going to give you guys a moment to cover your two whilst I go and check what that giant crash and scream from downstairs was.
Go and figure that out. So what you got, Morg?
So yeah, mine would be I would break up the Nightmare people. I'd have Cody turn heel.
Yeah, it makes the most sense at this stage. Join like the Four Horsemen they've been trying to do for decades?
Yep.
Or...
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Go and get him in your new Four Horsemen, or even just have him go solo. Win a number one contendership match for the title. This obviously needs to happen after Hangman.
Yeah.
Hangman needs to win it, and I think Cody's heel turn has to be him challenging for the AEW World Championship that he's not supposed to be able to challenge
he
for.
Wouldn't do. Yeah. Good.
So good heel work there. I would actually move Dustin over to the Dark Order. You've still got a lot of young guys in there, and they need a veteran with them. He can do a much more back scene role with them, and you can have him training with people like Anna Jay and Ten. We know Dustin is a phenomenally good trainer. He's got that rep for being a really good trainer, and I think that'd be useful. But he's also really good at comedy, so he doesn't need to turn heel. He's really good at comedy.
The thing about Dustin, as much as I rag on him, he's really good at everything. He just doesn't need to be this powerful. That's the only issue I've got with him.
I think he'd be better off being the Dark Order's old granddad, that they have to come out and, especially if you turn the Dark Order face with Dustin as their new mentor. Yeah, don't want to say leader because we want Hangman as their leader. We want him as their mentor character, and you have them come out to do the saves on, and he can do the old Terry Funk, I'm just an old man, which he was doing with Cody. I'm just an old man, I'm in my 50s now, I'm just trying to get these new young guys up to that point where and he'd be great doing all the comedy skits.
Fantastic for that. I don't know why they've got him as this high-stated main character. It makes no sense to me.
It's because all their older guys are absolute monsters, I think, is the problem. It's like Jake did one short-arm clothesline and,
Yeah, could have exploded at any point.
You've got to be careful. That's why Tully never does a move on anyone, because if Tully just finger pokes somebody, they're going to explode.
Yeah.
And as for QT,
does he need a role?
No, I just have QT being QT and just have him as a character. Just give him a gimmick. Give him the new librarian.
Hold her a gimmick.
I'd make him the new librarian, inverted commas. I wouldn't make him a librarian. I'd give him a shit gimmick and let him play with it. So he's got something to play with.
Showing that he can run any gimmick is a good way to show off what he can do,
Yeah. Yeah, and I would give him a shitty gimmick that he can rail against the authority for, because Cody's turned heel, so it's obviously Cody's fault that he's ended it. He can be the kayfabe break character, and give him a shitty gimmick and let him have fun with that. Much like Peter Avalon did at the beginning of the Librarian. You're in the safe space now. I think you can almost rerun that bit of the Librarian gimmick. So yeah, that's how I would fix the Dark Order. Over to you, Mr. Muir.
I'm back, by the
I'm
way.
not.
Thank you for
How
taking the
is that-
Nightmare Family for me.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a hard one with AEW. I'm trying to think who I'd actually change, because most of the characters I like. I'd probably make Sean Spears into a shitty face character. I think that's
God, it's what I want. I love it.
Yeah, he's such a good character at playing this person that's like
dickhead.
Yeah, goofy dickhead.
He got the idea of being the perfect 10 over as a babyface thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, shitty. I think shitty face is not actually a bad idea for Sean Spears.
Low IQ shitty face. He has to be.
He doesn't mind eating shit whenever he wants. You can rise him up and drop him down as you need. He just loves wrestling and he's very good at it.
Yeah.
Just upper mid carders. It's the best role in wrestling.
Yep. None of the pressures of having to carry the belts and stuff like that. Just dicking around and goofing. It's the best.
Yeah. So yeah, I've done the easy one, Strange. Go on then. How do you fix Marco?
Right, well, first we're going to slip his wrestling style actually being back into this momentum, scrappiness-based fighting style that he forgets in Dark. You know, the one where he's actually has to...
Great.
Yeah. That he can get picked up, battered, and thrown about. But to mostly, because I don't think he can drop this arrogant fucking way he acts, because I honestly think that's who he is.
It is what he is.
Having seen him on other vlogs and stuff. So I'd turn him heel and give him a bulk, as in like a Bulk and Skull from Power Rangers. You know, you give him some wins against the smaller guys, but you give him like a Will Hobbs or something. Somebody when he's Yeah, when he's pushed his luck too far and he's sized up to somebody like Lance Archer or somebody, give him a fucking cube that can come out behind him.
Yeah.
And just use him as basically evil Spike Dudley. Let him be an arrogant wanker. Arguably, if you don't face turn Sammy, you could use Sammy as that higher tier bully who's with him. You know, they get on well.
They do get on great by the looks of it, things, yeah.
They are best mates, I believe. I'd certainly get that impression.
Just heel turn him and let him be this twat that he either quite enjoys acting like, or may or may not be. I can't. I don't know. I can't comment. I only have his media presentation, and to me, he's a heel because I want to slap him.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just heel turn him and let him be this knob and take him back to the fighting style he had. And I'd probably actually, I'd be angry when I saw him on screen, but I'd be meant to be, you know.
Switchblade anger, not.
Yeah, you're never going to get Switchblade, no, Kenta anger.
Kenta anger.
Switchblade and Naito were the best frenemies. Fuck that Kenta anger. Fuck you, Kenta. How dare you?
It's a year on, mate. Let it go.
No. But yeah, he'll turn the stunt. It's the only way. Yeah, let him do what he's doing there. So there we go.
So there you go. And if you like, sorry, what was his name again?
Tough Bone Flex.
Tough Bone Flex. If you like Tough Bone Flex, want to get in touch with one of us and give us a question for something you'd like to discuss. Maybe you'd like to give us something to rant about. We don't have anything to rant about this week.
Shocking.
Maybe.
Could you imagine if I was bold enough to rant this week?
I don't think it's going to be a thing.
Stuff that was shit.
His strange, his
Why
heel
did
turn.
the Dark Order win every match?
So you can send us your questions to wrestleopinionated@gmail.com, WrestleOP on Facebook, and WrestleOP1 on Twitter. You might even want to try and persuade us to review one of your favourite matches, which is what? See, I was segue there. So yeah, instead of our usual discussion, we've decided we're going to have quite a few weeks, we listed our top 5 favourite matches a few weeks ago each. And what we have done is we are forcing the others to watch these matches, and then we're going to give our reviews and thoughts on them. And at the end of this, I will set up the random number generator, and we will work out what we're all watching for next week.
God, I hope it's Chuck versus Swoggle.
I hope we can find a copy of that on the internet. This week, the winner from 2 weeks ago, Sasha Banks versus Bayley for the NXT Women's Championship at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. This was one of my choices, one of my favourite Western women's matches. I have recently thought that I maybe should have put the War Games from this year's War Games, because that was phenomenal.
That would have led to a lot of arguments, Morg.
It's a really good match.
I don't want you two to discuss that match, because I've heard both of your opinions on it, and I haven't seen it. And I'm not going to watch it, so that we don't have to watch it, for my own safety and your friendship.
So
this is like the Shield versus LIJ again.
So this is my... I think it's my job to do the prelim to this match. On our Facebook page, you can find links to the pre-match promo video package that WWE always do, and they're always pretty damn good. And a link to the match, which we will try and put up every week for all of these matches, so you can watch them and form your opinions. The basic preset to this match, and one of the reasons it's one of my favourites, is it's all to do with the story leading in. Bayley has been the ultimate babyface. She has been the John Cena that Vince didn't know how to book, but Triple H apparently did. She has been beaten up by all the other members of the Four Horsewomen turn on her, beat her, and she's finally got her chance with Sasha being the mega heel. This is a true babyface, proper babyface versus heel match. That's just, in my opinion, an absolutely great match. Meltzer gave it 4.5 stars. What did you guys think, having watched it fairly recently?
I watched it literally 5 minutes before we started recording.
Me too.
You want to go first, Muir, or shall I?
I thought this was a really good match. I enjoyed it. My two first comments before the match started was how pumped the crowd was. It's great to see a pumped crowd after this year. And God, I hate WWE comms. They just, I know other people can blare it out and whatever, but God, they drive me mental.
I wish this had been Mauro Ranallo.
Mate, it could have been fucking anyone. They could have had Stardom's no commentary and it would have been better.
Yeah, no, if it had been Ranallo, this would have been... That is where I think it loses its half a mark almost.
Yeah. But go.
I don't listen to commentary, so that didn't affect me at all. I just phase it out, which is often when a lot of the time you guys are talking about commentary and I'm like, I don't know. Unless it's Taz and Excalibur, my brain sort of shuts it out.
Just turns it off.
I can see why these two were over as fuck from their personalities when they walked out. They each had the different gimmick. It was very readable. I'm glad the NXT women's belt's as bad as the AEW women's belt.
Fucking awful, that
belt. The character work at the start, from shit talk to beatdown, was cool. Bayley's sliding lariat thing was fucking dope. I love that. The hanging turnbuckle elbow drop, really cool move, really like that. Really, really solid, strong start. They're clearly comfortable with each other. The pacing was solid. And they've both got presence. Yeah, they're both worn. Yeah, you can see them there on the ring. Yeah. I would say that Bayley is the better wrestler. I picked up on that from the ring work. There was I've got a couple of criticisms I spotted in the match, but obviously that's because I wasn't as invested. That's not to say none of it's bad, but most of it is on Banks' side. She did a corner leg slam thing into the turnbuckle, and it was weak as fuck. But the character work,
knee levels.
Yeah, there was the shit talking character work was great. We got limb work with the injured hand, which
was great.
Story work. Always a +1 from me, and it's always bonus heel points. I don't know if the count-out spot actually had any tension to it, because all count-out spots were ruined for me by Tetsuya Naito.
And you don't have 20, so it's just, Alex, my missus, was watching it with me, and she's like, why is she rushing? She got till 20. And it's just like, no, that's NJPW.
We had a bunch of nice corner assault series from Bailey. Yeah. That was exciting. There were some really nice rolling sequences. The only problem I had with it was like how big. This is actually where I noticed the commentary, to be fair. We're like, oh god, she's trying to get her into the Bailey to Bailey. Oh my god. And there was a counter and a reverse into it and stuff. But I just can't be scared of somebody trying to get them into a belly to belly suplex. It's a basic mat return technique,
Yeah.
There is one thing I'm really going to buff WWE for, and I didn't think about it till this match. When Bailey locked in the bank statement, I want to say it's called.
Yep.
WWE do it right when somebody does somebody else's finisher. It's a huge fucking shocking moment. Like The Rock, Triple H doing the rock bottom and, the pedigree back in the day. They go, fuck, she's doing her finisher. Holy shit. And they really make a spot out of it. E-Dubs actually tends to skim over that. They'll be like, oh, God, he's done a crossroads. But it's never sold as quite so much of a moment.
The only time it has been is when, what's-his-name did the Kamagoye on Kenny. That's the only time I've seen it being sold properly,
Exactly. Near the end, there was a turnbuckle fall that... I don't know.
Mate.
I think it was part botch, but it looked.
Is this where Sasha lands on her neck?
It's where Bailey
lands on her head.
Yeah. So Sasha has a. So the way Sasha sells things, if you watch any more of her matches, you will learn that Sasha sells things. It looks like a botch, but what she actually does is tries to physically break her own neck. She does it regularly. It's kind of in her
technique.
Yeah,
it's Bailey, not Sasha. It was Bailey.
Oh, it was Bailey's one. Because normally it's Sasha. Sasha does something, and it looks like she's actually tried to break her own neck. Because that's how she sells.
The whole little move thing looked like it hadn't quite gone right, and then Bailey landed on her face. I mean, it didn't. It looked real. I can't say it's one of those botches where I went, "Oh, she fucked that up," and it looked out of place.
It was more, "Oh my god, is she going to be alive?"
Yeah. Then Bailey pulled off a corner buckle poison rana, which is always a pot for me. You pull off a poison rana from a top rope or turnbuckle, I'm excited. Yeah. If you can jump up an additional 6 foot, 5 foot on top of that, 5 foot or post, wrap your legs around somebody's head, and even if they're doing a forward flip or a back flip, pull that off and land it. It's awesome. And then it went into the Bailey to Bailey, which is a very uninspiring finisher. But in all honesty, it felt right. It was her finisher. The ending was great. This was a really good match. Really good heart.
Great storytelling. I think
great storytelling.
The match is solid, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to besmirch the match, but it is carried by the story a lot. The story is fantastic going into this.
Their comfort for each other and how happy they are just to fucking handle each other is really good. There's no dead spots in this match. The pacing was solid for
25 minutes.
25 minutes?
Yeah, just continuous flow.
Really good. You've impressed us more.
Yeah, and then obviously we've got the ending when all the 4 horsewomen come out and everyone just breaks character entirely, including Sasha.
I'd say it's around a C.
Even I'll tell you to get the fuck out.
So
it's good.
There you have it. That's our review, our thoughts on Bailey vs Sasha from TakeOver Brooklyn. Go watch the match. As I say, there are links on our Facebook page. Are you guys ready for me to generate a random number and choose?
Yes, I am.
This week? Oh, I'm really sorry, guys. It's another one of mine.
All right, don't worry. What we got?
It is Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker 2 from WrestleMania.
Oh no! I'll hate watching that.
Now, it is arguable that Taker Michaels 1 is the better match. I just think that the extra story that went into this and the 2-year storyline that goes into it is what makes this more of my favourite match.
I'm going to link up Max Landis's Wrestling Isn't Wrestling for
Yes.
being build up for this
You should,
video.
you should anyway.
It is really good.
So there you have it. That is what we will be reviewing next week on our show. I would like to thank Anchor.fm for hosting the podcast. If you want to find us, we are Wrestleopinionated on Spotify, Anchor.fm, and on YouTube. Mr. Muir.
Thank you all for listening. It's been really good and enjoyable as always. And if you'd like to send any questions or anything in to us, please send them to wrestleopinionated@gmail.com, WrestleOP on Facebook, and WrestleOP on Twitter. Over to you, Strange.
I've been watching The Internet Historian again, so I kind of want to do the Philip DeFranco challenge, but it's really hard. If you like what you like, please click the like button. If you can't do it,
Fuck's sake.
thank you. I can't get that speed up without making myself laugh. Thank you very much for listening. If there is a like button, click that like button. If there's a little ranking system on Spotify or Anchor, please do click that. Please share this to your friends. Cynical bit for YouTube coming now for their algorithm. Please click the little belly thing. Got to remember to mention YouTube. Like, subscribe, pass on, send photos of us to your family. Is there anything I've missed? I've kind of confused myself in the end.
Ring that bell!
Ring that bell! Got to get the hand actions as well. It's really hard. Yeah, thanks for listening. Back to you, Morg.
All that's left to be said is join the Dark Order.